one. Hello! Hello, world! My name! I've got a flame in my throat.
My name's Elizabeth Epstein. I'm here to eat your ass.
Hello, world! This is Drivecast! We're Drivecast! This is JP One Bennett!
I'm leaving.
I'm Dancing Jack! I have a YouTube channel! Subscribe to me! Should we end it there?
Yeah,
Probably.
good idea.
Well, welcome back, guys.
We'll be back in another 6 months, guys.
Shut the fuck up. Welcome back to another episode of Drivecast.
Welcome!
If you can remember, last week we spoke about
The Crew 2.
no, Need for Speed Payback. We spoke about.
Oh
last
yeah,
week.
we were talking about Need for Speed Payback last week.
Yeah, and how it's looking to be a good game.
Yeah. Although I am a bit skeptical about the off-roading. I'm not sure if it's gonna be too like.
It's definitely going to be a game that I'm going to be playing like 2 months after its launch.
Yeah.
I need you in my life!
I'm not gonna end up going back to Forza Horizon 3.
What should we talk about first? What do you want to talk about first?
I don't know.
What should we talk about first?
There's a lot to speak about.
Tokyo
There is a lot.
Nights.
Tokyo Nights,
about
the song by the
Tokyo
Bee
Land.
Gees.
Why don't we talk about the response? And we can put it in the title. I was meant to burp then, but it didn't really work. There you go.
No, In all fairness, let's do this properly. Hello, people. Welcome back. It's been a long
while since
long
last
time since we've done this.
CJ's got a hard on right now.
CJ really
so
wanted to do
erect.
this. Like,
So
CJ
basically-
was so ready to
We should
do
explain
this.
this. We should explain before we go in. So, obviously, we haven't done this for a while.
6 months.
And me and Jay were literally like in a call, just fucking around. We were literally talking about it. I put it in the chat, and I'm not kidding I'm not exaggerating when I'm saying he literally took a second to join the call when we said we were doing literally a second, like one join, and he joined, and he was here ready to do Drivecast. And keep in mind, he hadn't been in the call playing games with us for 2 hours, 2 whole hours,
Alright,
and
alright.
ugh.
He could have been jerking one out, and he would have just
there's only
sucked it
2
back in like.
No,
There's only
he
two
would've.
things. There's only 2 things that can get me to get off my flight simulator, and that's the fact that we're doing Drivecast after 6 months, and if
Alright.
you're giving me any shit for free, specifically porn.
Are you black?
No, I'm white.
Alright.
CJ really wanted to do this. He
Yeah,
really
I
wanted. But when we were all tired and working and going, like literally when we were all busy, he was like, "Yeah, let's do this." And then he goes, "Let's get Nina's permission." Like he hasn't uploaded in a whole 365.
I mean, it's only been 10 months. Okay, not a whole 365.
Oh my god,
Yo.
Nina! We haven't heard from him in 2 weeks.
Nina's contract with Drivecast has expired.
Yeah, we own all of his channel. I'm gonna upload and just have my dick, just have it just a dick.
And then it'll just get removed from
It's
YouTube.
gonna be like the dick's gonna speak. It's gonna go. My name's not Fine Gaming.
Why do I hear like, what the fuck?
Siri just started speaking on my phone. I'm sorry. We just decided she wanted to say something.
Speaking of that, he sent me a Snapchat 38 minutes ago. Should I show this on? Should I show it or no? It's a very boring one. It's saying it's freezing today and it's 28 degrees.
Right, because we all care.
That's a Falcon truck. That's literally that's all we hear from Nina. We don't hear anything
copyright.
else other than him taking Snapchats while he's on the road, and him
Which
waking
is-
up
which
and
is dangerous.
giving me the degrees. We don't know what's wrong with Nina.
He's lost his mind.
Yeah, I don't know.
So what we're starting with, boys?
Should we explain why we haven't been here? I feel like it's pretty obvious.
Alright. Laziness.
No, it's not laziness.
No, it's not
you
laziness.
Fucking rude bastard.
Fucking spacker.
Let's get this straight right now,
He
CJ.
actually thinks that though. It's a thing.
No, I don't.
Yeah,
I'm joking.
let's get
I'm,
this-
I'm just pulling your
Nah, he
dick.
actually
You know
knows.
that?
Let's talk about this. Let's talk about this because you care.
I'm
so much.
pulling your dick like I'm pulling my mic arm all the way over here.
Nothing but just decrease the quality of this podcast.
Quality. Oh, that matters now. Does it come?
This is quality entertainment.
A minute ago, you. Explain.
I wish I could transmit messages in the background on Discord. I just
I've
can't.
lost my glasses. I've lost my glasses. I've lost my glasses. I don't know where they've gone. You want me to explain?
Yeah.
What do you want me to explain?
The fucking absence.
Oh, yeah. So it's been. When was the last one we uploaded?
Like 6 months ago.
Well, if anyone knows the date, you know the date off by heart. You probably
Well,
have
I
a
don't.
fucking. You probably have a counter on your
I
phone that is like
don't.
the last day we did Drivecast heart emoji.
Let's see. Let me check. The last episode we did was called The Reboot, by the way. And it was October 8th, 2017, which was about 6 months ago.
We can't guarantee that this is going to happen next week again.
There is no guarantee.
We hope it does. But
No,
who knows?
I think once this ball's rolling, there's no reason.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
it
around then,
depends,
like-
really, innit?
Because around
Just depends.
time-
You might miss a week. Might do 2 in 1 if you get lucky. If you hit the jackpot, we might do if we get enough Patreons.
Mad.
I
feel like it needed kind of a break. I feel like the juice was running out of like
the juice.
there wasn't much to talk about around that
Yeah.
time. I
I
feel
kind
like
of. It would have been cool if we did do it like throughout Need for Speed Payback. I would have loved to see like our reactions on Drivecast throughout Need for Speed Payback's launch.
it just
and
would have
subsequent-
all been the same. We would have just been
It would have been the
repeating
same.
ourselves.
The same
And that-
bullshit would have been. Oh,
I feel like now we've come to the end of moaning about Payback, so there's not much to moan about anymore because we've said it all.
I don't feel like I even want to talk about racing game stuff on this podcast anymore. I
It's
just don't.
it's getting a bit
There's
depressing.
nothing to talk about. Like, the fuck shit is so much more entertaining. So much more entertaining. Like, does anyone actually like? Everyone knows Payback's fucked unless something like Tokyo Nights happens or like it's E3 or Gamescom or there's an announcement or DLC coming out. There's just no reason to speak about racing games. No reason.
There's The Crew 2.
got our
There's
channels for
Forza
that.
Horizon 4.
I
Like,
I
there's
do-
still stuff we can do.
I do feel like we should. I do feel like people do still watch to hear our
Yeah.
opinions and stuff.
That's what I said. So when DLC is coming out and when it's Gamescom E3 and there's an announcements, yeah, but we shouldn't like what CJ was saying every week when Payback come out.
No, I'm not saying that. It just would have been cool to see that. If you know what I mean. If
Yeah, but if
like,
we're talking about
if
Payback, every
was.
is fucking bland.
Well, the
No
thing
one
is,
even wants to
like,
hear about Payback. No one
no,
cares.
the thing is,
The
no,
game's
you're
dead.
misconstruing my words. Obviously, now no one wants to hear about Payback, but I'm talking about like if we did continue doing it, if we didn't take a break, it would have been interesting to see us talking about it week on week on week when the game was hot. When the game was hot, by the way. I'm not talking about now. It would have been interesting to see us talk about it, like, and then gradually become disappointed with it. You know what I mean?
It would have been kind of hard to in our
Yeah.
position.
Yeah. Yeah, it would have. I've got a question. Where do you want the podcast to go?
Over there.
I don't mind. I like it being casual.
Yeah.
I like you know.
In an ideal world, like where would you want it to go?
In a non-ideal world, it would be hilarious if we. Obviously, it's never, ever gonna happen. But you know, a proper like.
Jarcast.
No Jarcast.
Well, studio, like H3
Okay.
podcast.
That's extreme, isn't it? That's like
Yeah, we're talking
Yeah,
really.
That is
I could just
that's
imagine.
well established.
Yeah.
Hella money, you know.
I
I mean,
could just-
they make their money back from that shit.
I could just imagine. I had a dream the other night. Well, not the other night, like a couple months back, where we were doing Drivecast, but it was in front of a live studio audience in a studio, and we had a car right there in the audio.
I bet you were really confident.
This is what I mean, guys. He dreams about Drivecast. Like this is like how deeply ingrained it is into this guy's school, and he does nothing but degrade the podcast. It's a bit deep. It's a bit deep. So anyway, Jay, carry on. I've got nothing left. I've got nothing left.
Oh right. Oh, that's right. Merch plug. Get your JVY Pennant mugs. JVYPennant.com/store.
Hey, you know we got it on my Xbox though. You know we got it on my
Yeah,
Xbox.
man, yeah.
store.
My sticker's on my PC and I can't show that on my webcam.
Oh, these are mugs. I'm on the next level at this point.
I hope we drop it.
No, you ain't selling them, though, are you? I'm selling my shit. Get you.
Nah, it depends. How
And
much
now
you want.
I'm announcing it here. I'm
It's
joking.
like one of one. That's more exclusive than like a.
This is funkypigeon.com.
Do you want to carry on with what you were saying?
What was I saying?
Something about where you want Drivecast to go.
It'd be cool if we could like. It'd have to be a portable thing, but you know, meet up and do it. But the only people that can actually physically do that is me and you.
Yeah.
Because my man's is in shitland.
Pennsylvania. Not shitland.
You'll get
good
shot
land.
before you come here. Like,
That's not
genuinely. You'll get
You'll
shot on
be-
the way here.
You'll be playing grime and they'll mistake you for a black man, so they'll just shoot you.
No,
I already Blair grind through like the
You'll
bad parts
be
of
like
town.
en route to the airport and then someone will hit you and then shoot you. That's
Why?
what happened. 'Cause you
I
live
don't
in
know. I don't know. You guys just like to kill each other for no reason.
Like I wouldn't even be surprised if
I mean, there's a shooting
someone
at-
comes up behind that green screen and just goes bang.
There was a shooting at this Waffle House in Tennessee, Failure, where the dude was naked, goes into the Waffle House with an AR-15, killed like 4 people.
This is what I mean. You just
Saints Row.
live with a bunch of fucking retards. Like,
It
the
reminds
whole-
me of Saints Row. It's like you live in a game. You live in a simulation.
It's a bit mad
I
to see
mean-
like. Oh, you go.
I mean, I was just gonna say we're not. Like, we've got our problems. Like niggas just stabbing each other for banter. Like
Yeah, didn't
Yeah,
London
but
have
that's
like
no
a
different to
higher...
getting shot.
Nina was trying to have an argument with me about how being stabbed is worse than being shot. But I was kind of trying to say, well, the difference between that is a gun more or less more times gonna kill you.
That's
Right?
not even a question.
No,
If being knife stabbed was worse, then like there would be no guns.
that's what I said to him. Why don't we go to war with fucking
Knife.
samurai swords anymore? Like, nice. You know, why the Vikings not roll around anymore? With
Because they're dead.
What was I gonna say? What were we talking
Niggas.
about before?
I don't know.
Where we want to go with this podcast.
Oh, I was gonna.
Personally, I'd like to see it like just continue its casual nature because that's how the podcast kind of started and
I'd be
evolved.
pretty
Just
sick if we got some sponsors.
yeah.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
man.
I know what
Shout
I
out
was
to
gonna say. No, honestly, like if we got like I don't know, like a tuna crate sponsor or something, that would be pretty cool. Like that's
Yeah.
not something which is that far off. I don't think. Obviously,
Dollar
like
Shave Club.
other than consistency and stuff, that'd be pretty cool. And then like
Hmm.
imagine us like plug in sponsors. That'd be retarded.
Hello,
all-
welcome to the bro.
Us all here with a tuna crate box going, get the tuna. Great.
Vroom, vroom. Vroom, vroom.
That'd be hilarious. What I was gonna say was it's a bit mad, like having seen the response, like from people since we haven't done it.
Yeah, like my Twitter feed, Shizkin, I always see him liking like old Drivecast episodes, like just listening in
Like
and all
I
that.
remember getting a tweet. I think it was either from it might have been from Harry, and it was like 6 month like death, and I was thinking there sitting like this guy remembers it like 6 months. Like Jesus, that's quite long. That's quite long ago.
Yeah, that's
To
long.
be fair, to think it was October since the last one, that's quite mad. Because a lot's happened
Yeah.
since October. For all of
Mm.
us.
Early October too, let alone. I mean, I was in an old house. I was in a different house. I'm in a new house now, a better
Probably
house.
the house soon.
And
That's
like,
gonna be weird.
yeah.
Like, yeah, loads has happened
To
actually.
think of that, that was the beginning of the school year. It's now the end of the school year.
We don't even know when we're gonna upload this. At the moment, it's the 23rd of April.
22nd, if you're on the east coast of Pennsylvania.
Right, so for two of us, it's the 23rd, so it's the 23rd. I think what we should do with this one is we should upload it before we've recorded the next one, sort of thing, so we can plan them.
What do you mean?
Because
like,
no real like live topics. Like we're not going to talk about anything which is
yeah,
current.
yeah. Like,
So we
what
just
do you mean?
backlog
Like,
them.
upload this next Saturday?
It's a bit hard to think that this was on SoundCloud at one point. Like there was actually like, all of them were on SoundCloud. I was paying for a subscription for them to be on SoundCloud.
Are they still?
No, because I'm paying for the subscription.
Oh, you know what we can do? We can actually get our podcast put on Spotify.
Nah, Apple Music, fam. Let's get the Apple Music plug.
Imagine if this was on. Yeah, but don't you have to pay?
I think so.
For Spotify, you just submit it, and if they like it, like, hey, it's on. For
That's a bit
Spotify.
mad, you know. We could.
Doesn't it have to be
They're gonna
music
like us.
related?
They're gonna
And
like
the
us.
I mean, and the
Did you not
fact
hear
that
our intro?
and the fact that we're like 100 so episodes in, you know.
Doesn't
like,
it have to be music related to be on Spotify?
No,
No, H3's on Spotify.
I've listened
Oh.
to like a couple on Spotify.
That's a bit mad.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I didn't really yeah.
I was gonna say thank you for everyone who's like kept us like there. It's a bit mad. To be fair, like if you think about it, we're like the only people like in this community that actually do a podcast. I think.
Yeah.
Like
I know
gigs.
there was a couple. There's a couple before, but I haven't really seen any recently.
I mean, it's
At least in,
weird
like,
because
the
you think
recent-
something
at
like
least
this,
in, like, our subsection of the
because
community.
it's
I
so
really haven't
niche.
seen any.
I guess it's got a bit of a niche following like that. Do you know what I
But
mean?
I remember, but I remember in like this subsection of the community alone, like the arcade racing community, I counted like 4 at once. Then again, that was like at least a year ago. But like as of recently, it's actually been really dry. And I have a feeling that actually has to do with the current landscape of racing games, with Payback's disappointment, just the fact that there's really nothing going on right now, aside from the Crew 2 coming out in like 2 months.
There is nothing.
Yeah.
Actually,
other
what
than
it done? Burnout came out, I guess.
I mean, yeah, but even then, like nothing too spectacular, nothing really new. If you know what I
The
mean.
Midnight Club leak. How long ago was that?
That was like
Or the
January.
fake. The Midnight
like,
Club
this-
fake.
No, I was at my old house when that happened, so I was like,
That was annoying. It kind of got me.
I mean,
like,
I kind of knew it wasn't gonna be real. You can kind of tell it looked like a Unity game.
yeah, I was easily bamboozled into that.
Like I remember
Just
telling everyone like it's not real. Don't even bother making it. It's not real. Like, and then nothing happened. And there was a specific thing. I think someone said it was a reboot. And there was licensed cars. That's what gave it away. No, not licensed cars. What was it? I think it was Toyota. Because they had an A86 and no one had Toyota in, so it made no
At
sense
that
for Toyota
point,
to be in that game.
No,
I think that's what gave it away. It was either that or some customization option on the R34.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like again, that was a bit mad. That was January. So much has happened actually
Yeah.
that we missed. The whole Tokyo Nights thing. That's another thing which I'm like I should say thank you for, because that's got so big. Like I think out of everything in like that we've missed, obviously minus Payback, I think that Tokyo Nights thing is probably the biggest thing.
Yeah. What I find funny with Need for Speed, like Tokyo Nights, people are so pissed about it over at the Need for Speed Reddit. Any topic on Need for Speed Tokyo Nights is pretty much deleted, like instantly wiped.
You
But
give that
on-
place way too much attention.
on the way.
I do. I honestly do.
On the way.
But yeah, I'm just saying, like, there's a lot of
No
people
idea.
who just get excessively like pissed off at
Yeah,
that.
their
like,
opinions don't matter. Well, fuck off then. Like, I know, like, I literally seen people on there like have a problem with me like saying like all types of shit. Like, you don't just fuck off then. Don't
like,
speak to me.
they'll find
You're
they'll
irrelevant.
find any little thing to go after people for on there.
They-
And that's just
they
Reddit in general.
assume a lot as well, but that's just people on the internet generally assume a lot of things. Like, I don't know. I think out of everyone, like everyone who goes to game changers and stuff, like I don't know. There's like I don't get it. I just don't get the attack. It's pretty obvious if you look at it, like who's who. Like I don't get it. It's just very very weird. It's very very weird. I just think
Yeah.
a lot of people assume things. Like the whole thing being about like I've seen so many things about like other people like Theo and AR12 being paid by EA. Like, no, it's pretty obvious. Like
They're
what
not
is where.
being
Do
paid.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, but
Like,
even
who's
yeah,
getting
but
opportunities and all that kind of stuff. It's all
Yeah, like,
obvious.
there's a difference, even though it kind of like does yield the same effects at sometimes. Being paid by like a game studio and then being sent out to the middle of the desert to record some titanium gamer thing, that's like 2 different things. But yet, like, I can see why people like think that, if you know what I mean. Like, that's
Well,
obviously like doing that,
well-
having being sent out and having all those opportunities is gonna it's gonna misconstrue your judgment a bit. If you know
All I know is I ain't getting sent out to do no fucking Castro racing bullshit. So
Nope.
people need to keep their opinions about me out of their mouths because I literally don't give two shits about any human being that uses Reddit in a malicious way, and that's what a lot of people do, and that's why the website does not interest me.
Not even malicious, but pretentious.
Well, they go on there with the intent to be negative, right?
Not
A lot of the
necessarily.
time,
Some
yeah.
people just think they're right. Like pretentious is like some people like they go in, and even if they're wrong, they'll still word it in a phrasing like that they're right type thing. And some people even on there, it doesn't matter, even if they are wrong, they'll still go like, oh well, I can't trust this, that, or this is flawed, or whatever, when it's not at all, and they're just trying to fucking speak shit.
They're acting like I'm trying to sell the game to them.
or like they're hiring. It's just like fuck off.
I remember I made a video on the physics, and looking back at the video, I was wrong in a lot of aspects. But bear in mind, I didn't really play the game that much, and I was using a very slow car. So to me, the physics seemed like they were fixed, very much fixed.
Mhm.
They're not, but at the time, that's what I felt like to me, and that's what I was explaining, right? In no way, shape, or form did I say they were perfect, or even I even remember saying they were like.
Theo said there was the best
amazing.
physics ever tried at E3.
See, that's
For
retarded.
speed, and
So-
that's why I don't think people can trust him.
And
Which is completely justified.
Very much. But the difference between that video and my video is that I was not trying to sell the game to no one. I was telling them what I thought about the way the game felt. So a lot of the attacking was coming in from Reddit because that's where it was posted. And I don't know. It's just the people telling me that I'm paid and that I swear someone told me I should die. and it's like that's hilarious. You want me to die? That's
stupid.
joke.
Yeah.
But if you put that in contrast to like a video where it's just customization, it's so different. It was such a weird thing to watch. People very much will not like a video just because you're speaking.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
No, 100%. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
How about
would
that
not like
specifically?
it
Sure.
because you're talking. There's a lot where like
Yeah, like I see a lot of that. Like, oh, shut the fuck up! I just want to listen to the game.
just stop talking.
Ah.
Like nigga, get off my fucking channel, then dickhead. What the hell?
No, like, that's one thing I don't get. I just don't get why people are so, like, with Tokyo Nights, everyone took it so literally.
Literal,
And
yeah.
it's like, people, like, literally critiquing me on the Japanese in, like, the cover art and how it's not accurate. Fam, like, if you've got nothing better to do, then critique the Japanese in the fucking title. Like, leave. Like, that's irrelevant. This doesn't has like there's such a minuscule problem. Like, and it's like just people again. It comes back to the people of like thing of people being pretentious and stuff. It's just I don't get why everyone has to be so anal about it. It's like, and it was the same thing around a campaign back to launch. I think honestly, the reason everyone keeps saying. Like, everyone keeps getting this Tokyo Nights thing misconstrued, and they're either relating it to Underground 3, or we want Japan, and we want drifting, and we want S13s, and that's it. And we want a night only. A lot of people thought that as well.
Is Midnight Club at night only?
No. The
LA
first
isn't
and
the
second
rest
one.
of
Is
it.
Midnight Club LA night only?
No.
No, that's what I thought.
But that's a lot. That's what a lot of people thought because it was nights in the title. That it only went nights.
It's
I
a
mean,
concept.
Yeah.
It's a concept. It's an idea. Why do people?
I mean, without looking further into it, one can assume that it'd be nights only, due to the name.
Well, then that's ignorance, then, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's ignorance, then, if you think that.
No, I'll tell you what's
Or
ignorant.
was that
What's
arrogant?
ignorant? What's ignorant is going onto someone's concept video and start debunking things and shooting down things because they don't make sense to them. Nothing needs to make sense because it's a concept. If you look at any concepts for any game that's out and exists today, like the Payback one, where there's loads of people and people are like, oh, why is the game could have been like this? No, it couldn't have, because it's a concept. It's not the final product. It's not what they're doing. It's an idea. It's a brainstorm. What my Tokyo Nights videos and cams and even Crowns to an extent, it's an idea. It's not it's not what we want or think the game should be. It's what we would love to see, and ideas can be taken and changed and whatever. It's different. It's an alternative to going onto a forum or a board and giving ideas that way, because they seem to not listen.
In a fucking big. It's a more exciting way than putting it in a big fuck off paragraph.
Paragraph,
which no one's
exactly.
gonna read.
Exactly. But
Yeah,
people
exactly.
don't want to see that, and they don't want to believe that, because people love to be negative.
It might be because those people are actually writing the paragraphs which no one's reading.
Fam,
Yeah.
it's a culture.
I mean,
it's a culture.
I mean, it's like no one's gonna read like a 27-page essay about why Need for Speed Payback shit, but they'll watch a 41-minute video on talking about why Payback shit.
No, they won't, because your content's trash.
Oh.
Content's fucking trash. Like, one thing I was gonna say with the whole Tokyo Nights thing, and like one thing which I got really confused about, like, so obviously it kind of blew up, and everyone was making concepts, and I feel like it got to the point where people weren't taking it seriously because everyone was so passionate about it, if you know what I mean when I say that. Like, it was almost like, oh no, Tokyo Nights is like the next Underground 3 type thing.
Now, I really think the like Tokyo Nights
don't
kind
think
of
it's gonna be
ushered in.
taken seriously.
No, I think it ushered in like a you know, I mean, at the end of the day, it's people having fun making concepts. Like, really, like the more the concepts, the better. But then again, Need for Speed, you gotta understand, it's not just like a game series. It's more like a collection of smaller game series is put under one name, because you have people who like enjoy Hot Pursuit. You have people who like enjoy underground type games. You have people who enjoy the simulation games. You have people who enjoy games like like it's all these different like game series is put under one umbrella, if you know what I mean. And that ends up having a very big mishmash of people who all want different things. And it's kind of like America.
I don't believe they can't accommodate everyone.
Yeah, they can, and that's, I feel like, what they're trying to do.
Because look at
with
like, look at God of War. God of War completely changed the type of game it was and what that's getting straight tens.
Then again, then again, God of War has always been one main thing, if you know what I mean. And they like
And they
if you know
completely
what I mean.
changed it and got tens.
Yeah, but it's
Yeah,
not
no,
like
I think what CJ is trying to say is that
yeah.
God of War it's a bit hard to compare, because the way God of War has changed is game style,
Yeah.
not the entire concept of it.
Yeah, it's kind of like
You can
Need for
incorporate all the
Speed.
concepts, though.
It's kind of like
There's only
Need for
two
Speed
concepts
going
which
from
are
like a
in the games, which is cops and robbers and race and underground street racing. Those are the only two concepts which have been. And then you've got shift, but that doesn't really count. Like, I'd never hear people saying they want a shift game.
but what I mean is like the way God of War kind of did, like from the last one to like the whole new style, is like Hot Pursuit going over and switching to
With the
underground.
whole thing
back
we
in
were saying with Tokyo
2003.
Nights, you've got the cops. We've already talked about that. You've got the illegal street racing. You could have like a Bizu in the map for the pro street legal street racing, which you could maybe have as a separate event. You've got like there's like every field, like it doesn't matter what type of fan you are.
It can be done. It definitely can be done.
Yeah, it can.
I don't
They've
believe
been
the
trying
idea
a
of
lot
no
with-
one can be satisfied, because everyone can be satisfied.
Yeah, but the thing is, with Payback, I don't even know what they were doing, honestly, because they added in off-roading. Off-roading felt like most of the game, and I don't really like going back before Payback. Like, sure, there's people who would like to see off-roading, but I don't think there's like a huge like campaign to bring off-roading to Payback.
I'm 100% confident it's here.
Yeah,
to
it
stay.
probably
There's
will.
no reason that, like, with their current mindset, by the looks of things, it looks like whatever they've added, they're gonna keep, because
With
that's
all the
just
resources
the way
they
it is.
pulled in,
And they're not going to refine anything.
get
They're not going to
off-roading.
remove anything for sure. And that's the problem with games generally nowadays. Is no one ever remove. Have you noticed with any big AAA title, especially EA, they never remove anything anymore? Before they used to remove stuff, and like, you know, with Underground.
Yeah.
So let's use Hop Shoot 2 to Underground. Removed the cops. Removed a bunch of other things, and they added a lot of other things instead. You never see that with any, especially fucking Need for Speed games. You never see anything removed. I feel like it's one of those things. Now they're going to stick to their guns and carry on doing it when it's not what anyone wants. Like,
yeah, like
obviously,
off-roading.
When
like,
I say that, you know exactly what I mean when I say that. Like, I know a lot of people go like, "Oh, well, some people wanted it." Yeah, of course, some people wanted it, but like, that's the very, very small minority.
that's really what they
I don't
should
wanna
be
even talk
focusing
about
on.
Payback, to be honest.
like that's really not what they should be focusing on. I mean,
I'm telling you now. Sorry, CJ, it's just we've said all this so many times
Yeah, I
before.
don't want to talk about it.
This has literally been rehashed over and over again. I'm just gonna put it at this.
end it.
The Tokyo Knights concept is plain fact. It's straight up proof of what people want.
Yeah.
I don't care what anyone says. I may not be big, Cam may not be massive,
Well, the 1,000,000+ views that the
but
whole thing accumulated.
the amount of views that the entire thing, everyone who's contributed to it, the amount of views that's contributed, even on Twitter and Instagram in terms of likes and comments and everything, that is proof of what people want in like a mass. If we're talking about it like on a what's the word I'm looking for? A word. Majority. The majority of people, the majority of the fan base would like to see a gritty underground style racing game. Period. Don't care what anyone says to me. That's period. Hot Pursuit, that'll be cool. That's not what everyone wants. If they make another Hot Pursuit, it'll flop because that's not what games are at right now. A racing game right now will not survive if it's only got race. Do you know what I mean?
In a perfect world,
it wouldn't survive in this landscape of gaming.
I mean, it's kind of I'm coming from a different perspective because I grew up playing like the Hot Pursuit type games.
So did
You guys
I,
grew
but
up playing the Underground type.
I'm impartial to both.
Exactly.
No, I play like the old classic Need for Speed games, if you know what I mean, not just like Hot Pursuit.
I grew up
2
on
and all
Hot Pursuit 2, Underground 1, Underground 2.
But I grew up on racing games that only had racing and not free roam as well. And it's not what's popular right now. It wouldn't even work. It would be shit. Imagine not being able to drive around with your friends.
No, I mean like like you can have a Hot Pursuit game and have an open world like Rivals, but if Rivals was fixed and Rivals actually had like the proper development time that like Hot Pursuit 2010 did,
That would not be anywhere near.
Yeah, but it just wouldn't.
No.
It just wouldn't. I just
much.
feel like the beauty of a game like. I think the difference between. Let me try and get a couple of games. I think the difference between a Underground and a Need for Speed 2015 and a Payback to an extent is that it's very relatable in terms of what you can do to your vehicles. And all right, let's take Payback out of the equation because that's not relatable. But I feel like because it comes like you start from the beginning, it's very humble. Your car's slow. You have to build it up to get the fastest car. I think that is the most satisfying thing that can happen in a racing game. Yeah. When you go into a racing game in particular, and you've got one of the best. If you've got a reasonably fast car that looks nice and you can't really do anything to it, there's not much reward there for me. Yeah, progression.
I remember having the starter BRZ in 2015. I remember picking between the Mustang, the Civic, and the BRZ.
Even though that game was an iffy game, it still kind of had that Need for Speed feel. I really feel the same with Payback. I know you started with a slow car, but I feel like that progression was very quick. Like,
I mean, you started off with an S2K. Like, if you wanted.
It was immediate almost. I didn't feel like there was much progression, and I wasn't. Actually, now, if you asked me to recite what happens in that story, I don't think I'll be able to tell you. Like,
I can tell you 2015 because it's pretty simple.
Yeah, I could tell you about 2015 as well because it's more memorable, and it's like I feel like Hot Pursuit or Rivals. I don't think it would survive because it's so specific. It's like that can be put into a
Hot Pursuit would fail now. It's not what people want. But if you go back to 2010, supercar culture is huge. Whatever. If you go to now, there's a reason why Top Gear went to Japan and did a whole thing on both Soku cars and Morohashi-san's Diablos and all that kind of stuff. There's no need for it.
I'm just saying this. In a perfect world, even if the game is like even if it, like, say you were just theoretically, if you were to release a Hot Pursuit game in 2019 and the game is like one of the best Need for Speed games of all time, people are gonna buy it regardless, you know, from all the high reviews and all that. People are still gonna buy it.
Yeah, and if you change the name to Tokyo Knights, it would sell more. That's fact. Like, there's every trend, the fact that like Speed Hunters, Stance Nation, all those types of things are now actually popular. The fact Forza has added body kits, which proves if that was popular, they would have done that in 2010. Like if wide bodies were popular, they would have done that in 2010. But no, it's popular now.
Yeah. I understand what you mean. I understand what you mean. I'm just saying, like, in a perfect world, however, we like if EA actually cared like a lot, like cared much more about the series, we'd have a yearly cycle or like a buy or something where we have different developers. One developer focusing on Hot Pursuit style games, and the next developer focusing on underground games.
That wouldn't work because all that would do is segment. It would segment the fan base even more than it is currently, and it just wouldn't work.
Not really, because each side, the two main sides of the community, the Hot Pursuit side community and the underground side community,
do you know how
it works?
Do you know how slim or how small that percentage of people probably are who want?
You're very biased, and I feel like you're not even like. For me, I can see both sides. I feel like I can see both sides.
I mean, I'm seeing both sides as well.
Your head, like you're thinking.
I'm not. I'm just. Honestly, CJ, where do these people gather?
What?
Who are these people that want Hot Pursuit over any other style game?
I mean, I see it on like forums. I see it in comments. I see it on videos. It's a waste of
money to make a bi-yearly game for both people. It's a waste of money. It's not going to make that much money.
I mean, it's a waste of money because it can be done in one singular game. It doesn't need to be separated. You can put Hot Pursuit style shit in a game that's the open world. It's possible.
Most Wanted 2005 was Hot Pursuit.
Exactly, it's possible to do. I don't.
That's
a poor excuse. It can be done. I don't care. It can be done easily.
Anyone that wants to say that Most Wanted 2005 wasn't Underground 2 and Hot Pursuit 2 combined is speaking shit, and it was better as well. It did cops better than Hot Pursuit 2. And that there's nothing to say around that. It was free roam. It was open world. It had heat systems. You had the pursuit breakers, the cooldown spots. The police had different types. Obviously, I know Hot Pursuit did, but this is open world, so it adds so much more.
I mean, it's considered the best Need for Speed, though, isn't it? It's considered by the majority of people as the best Need for Speed game.
Because you say that, but if you're looking at it from a constructive standpoint, every single thing about the police in Most Wanted 2005 was better. They had better AI, they were open world, so you could go around freely in any spot. It wasn't set down to a track. I can't think of anything other than the fact there wasn't bombs. Like, why would you want bombs in a Most Wanted game?
I think it's hard to speak against your favorite game, but my favorite Need for Speed game was Need for Speed Carbon. But I know for a fact Need for Speed Carbon isn't the best Need for Speed. If you're talking about it as a game, and Most Wanted is better than Carbon.
Yeah, Most Wanted's the best.
I'd say Most Wanted is the best. For me, it's between Underground 2 and
But if you're asking me my favorite one that I enjoyed the most, that's Carbon, but it's not the best.
Yeah, if you're asking me my favorite, it's Hot Pursuit 2.
If you're asking me what the best COD is, Modern Warfare 2.
But it's Black Ops 2.
It's not, it's Black Ops. Black Ops 2. That's the best COD. Yeah, people are going to argue with that. People are going to get pissed and say it's World at War.
It's the most balanced.
Or Modern Warfare 1.
The maps are the best. The zombies, I'd say Black Ops 1 was better. If we're talking multiplayer,
The thing is with COD, unlike Need for Speed, with COD, there's no clear-cut answer to what's the best built Need for Speed game. Because when people ask, if you ask them what's the best built with COD it isn't. There's no clear-cut winner.
Black Ops 2. Black Ops 2 is
in your opinion.
It is the maps are the best maps. Like, that is not a question.
In your opinion.
You would never hear anyone complaining about spawn problems in.
I heard about it all the time back in its heyday.
Not compared to Black Ops 1 and Most Wanted, not Most Wanted, Modern Warfare 2. No
Again,
way.
in your
opinion. Maybe COD 4 itches it in there because it was a lot more simple. But like, it's a general consensus. Black Ops 2 is the best.
Again,
game.
All of this is your opinion. At the end of the day,
it's a general consensus.
This isn't fact.
It's right then. So if you look at it from a constructive point, the classes were the most balanced way of doing it with the pick 10 system. That's not debatable. That is better than having what it was in Modern Warfare 2, where you had Stopping Power Parade, which would completely take the tip. I can go on for days. I know exactly what I'm talking about. Like Commando. Then you had problems with One Man Army noob tubes. So that's Modern Warfare 2 out of the way. Then with Black Ops 1, if you use Ghost, you're OP. There's no way around that. I could go
there
on
is.
and Black Ops 2 didn't have any of these issues. It was the most balanced
SMGs were overpowered.
That's every COD. UMP,
No.
UMP in Modern Warfare 2.
SMGs and Ghosts are really shit.
7040
No one plays Ghosts.
Yeah, but Ghosts shit because the maps don't work.
But I'm just saying, like again,
these are facts. Like this is fact. What I'm saying, like what
into
I'm saying,
your opinion, yeah,
no,
it's not fact.
What I'm saying about about it being balanced. You've told me that all the SMGs they're in every single COD because of the way the game style is. It is the best. It's the SMGs and the ARs every single game.
No.
COD 4 was the 74U. Modern Warfare 2 was the UMP.
Assault rifles were more overpowered.
Black Ops 1 was the 74U again. I'd even argue that like a lot of the Black Ops 2 guns weren't like but the ARs were really good in that game as well.
In Black Ops 1, the Commando, the AK, and the FAMAS were the overpowered ones.
That wasn't Black Ops 2.
Black Ops 1. Black Ops 2.
Yeah,
Black Ops 1 is Commando.
Was a 3-shot kill, and that's an SMG.
I know the FAMAS is overpowered.
Like,
that's
I remember.
SMG,
I played days of these games. Anyway, we've gone off topic. With Need for Speed, there is no question. I know you're going to be biased saying this, but there's no question a Hot Pursuit game now would not cut it.
And you're biased saying that because you're coming from the other side of the coin, if you know what I mean.
I'm not,
like,
because I played Hot Pursuit.
And I grew up playing both too. I just, like,
CJ, from a business standard in gaming today, a Need for Speed Hot Pursuit would not work. It wouldn't work because game developers and publishers favor open world games that are social and involve microtransactions. And no. I'm not talking but I'm not being biased. This is fact. It's the same reason.
No, you're implying that this game would be not.
Because now you're talking over me. I literally let you and Cam have your little rant. Let me talk. Right. It's the reason why games. It's the reason why game developers like not developers, publishers like Ubisoft, don't even want to make single player games anymore. They don't want to make
games canned from EA.
Open world games are the meta right now. They're not. There is no other things like God of War are anomalies. Like they are absolute rare. It's so rare to get a game like that, and like it's brilliant that it happens.
I should add to the God of War thing. After the game's finished, there's nothing to do. So as good as the experience is, there's nothing after.
And that's and in terms of money, that's not to someone like EA. They're gonna need that game to fucking run all the way till the absolute end. Now they fucked up with Payback, but a Hot Pursuit would fuck up even more.
Who said the game would have to be open? Who wouldn't have to be open world? The game.
But then you explained to me how did Hot Pursuit have weapons in it?
What Rivals did, yeah, and Hot Pursuit did.
Rivals and Hot Pursuit did.
Well, you explained to me how a game like that's going to work, where you can drive around with other people in the game and then fucking attack them with bombs and spike strips and stuff. It's not going to work because that would be retarded.
I mean, the way Hot Pursuit did it was that you only had them available during Hot Pursuit events. During every other event, you never had.
So you're telling me you want a Need for Speed, right? Where you can go in a Rocket Bunny BRZ or a any car really, a Raptor, and have its stance lowered, airbags and all that, neons, but you can still throw out spike strips out the back of your car.
I mean, that actually is pretty cool. I do like that, but
it's
what I'm trying to say,
Blur, fam. It's not Blur. What game do you want?
Mate. What I'm saying is an open world Hot Pursuit styled game. Again, it doesn't have to be directly Hot Pursuit. It can be like the whole idea of having the game based around exotic hypercars and supercars and all that, with cops who are in the same caliber of vehicles, like Rivals, but just so much more better, if you know what I mean. Like, have it like open world, make the weapons actually balanced, like in Hot Pursuit, where each weapon has a counter, and make it so like they're only available during Hot Pursuit events and in multiplayer and all that. And then make it so like you have like a PvP and all that, where it's like set off. You have a own single player, you have your own multiplayer, you can cruise around with your friends and all that in these cars. It's just a matter of this type of game comes out in a year where the underground game is being made, and then the next year the underground type game is made, kind of like how Forza does Forza Motorsport and then Forza Horizon.
But okay, so in that case, when the Black Box and Criterion had bi-yearly cycles, all that did was split up the fan base.
Not really. Most of those games are actually
Yeah.
like
Because you had the people
lot
who like
similar.
retro, people who don't. And
I
now
honestly
look at us
think
now.
that if I actually think about it, I honestly think that Forza Horizon damages Forza Motorsport sales.
It does, but Horizon 3 is the
Because-
best selling game in the series.
That's what I'm saying.
because it's
better.
It's just better, yeah.
I mean, they're totally different experiences, but right now Forza Motorsport's slacking and Horizon isn't. In terms of,
and also with
in
seven,
that's
the whole,
that's another.
with 7, the whole like loot box thing that probably did it in a bit more. But what I'm saying,
I struggled to in my perspective now, like how you struggle to see that a hypercars and supercar only game. I struggle how you can't see that wouldn't sell well. Like I can't see but anything but other than just bias. Like it's so
it would,
clear
as
to
long
me,
as the game is
having
like,
seen how
in terms
Tokyo
of
Nights
quality,
has
good.
done.
But then that's you just
That's just you
genuinely
dreaming.
thinking about yourself then, because you're not thinking
No.
about the whole entire fan base in this situation.
I mean, then again, that's what a lot of people see with Tokyo Nights because like
No,
you're
because it's got the
focusing
views to back
mainly
it up.
on like
No,
all
well
that.
then
I really don't see
that's
a way...
retarded. But again, that's retarded because you are missing the point of Tokyo Nights. It isn't just Tokyo Night. That's not that's a name. That is just an idea. It could be called anything. I could have called it fucking Need for Speed Pizza. It's just an idea.
And then turn that
the
around.
the idea of it is a gritty, story-driven Need for Speed game with an online mode. And if you want to put in fucking police and not police,
Well, police are
Pursuit Tech,
part of the idea.
not Pursuit Tech. Pursuit Tech's retarded. That don't need to come back to Need for Speed.
The
That can
weapons
stay
don't need to come back to
far,
Need for
far
Speed.
away from Need
Nope.
for Speed. But a game that's heavily influenced by cops, of course that can exist. That's one of Need for Speed's strong points. I just didn't put it into any of my concepts because they would have to be Japanese, and I wasn't going to put American cops in because it looked stupid, and people would call me out like, "Oh, they're American, Japan." I actually was going to put a bit of chatter at the start, and I thought, hang on a minute, they're going to call me out for that, so I took it
It's
out.
like that reminds me of how like the old Hot Pursuit games where you have like American cop cars racing, chasing you in like Greece and like Malaysia and like fucking Iraq.
But
Like you have American cops like chasing after you.
back to the point.
But I mean, you can flip that you can flip that like whole misconception around with what you guys are talking about. How you guys are
can't,
misconstruing what I'm
because-
talking
and-
about with my
Because
game.
you said the cars are you literally just said super and hyper only. That would not
No,
work.
I didn't say only. I said like mainly, if you know what I mean. Just how
That
like
wouldn't
Tokyo
work.
Nights could be like mainly like
But people
lower
don't
end
want that,
stuff.
fam.
No,
Is
because
that
Tokyo Nights wouldn't be
people don't
mainly
want
low
that?
end.
People has it not been a big uproar about there not being enough low end cars in Need for Speed?
Yeah, I know.
Wasn't
but
that a
I'm
big
just saying,
issue?
Like,
So why the hell would they revert back and go back to just putting?
I mean,
hypercars?
with
Payback
the-
is kind of more hyper and super mainly. If you look at the car list,
yeah,
Payback
I mean,
is very bad. I think
and
Payback's
it's
yeah.
a shit game.
I think Payback leans more towards
Hot Pursuit, yeah,
the Hot
for
Pursuit
sure.
games than it does
only
the
you can
underground
actually
games.
you can't actually get at cops after you unless you hit a bait crate.
There's more.
I mean,
there's more. Yeah, but the police are actually better. There's
I
country
mean,
roads and like it's all country roads, exactly like Rivals and Hot
But
Pursuit.
the map's
2010 is.
dead, so you know.
Exactly,
map's
proving my
boring.
point of.
No.
I mean, I
Normally
think
wants
I
that
think
type of game.
I think
Seacrest County and Redview County weren't dead though.
I
you
think
know?
overall this is all bizarre that we're even talking about Need for Speed like this when around this time last year we were all kind of like, oh yeah, Need for Speed is going to be on a mad, it's going to be mad. And
Oops.
we are here again. We're here again. Like we're literally in the same fucking place like we were a year
I'm not.
ago.
I'm in a different house.
I don't really know what to say anymore. I'm just waiting and seeing at this point because
If they don't do Tokyo, it's a shot in the foot,
they don't
especially
even
with Horizon
they
going
don't
to the UK.
need to do Japan. They don't
They
need
could do
to
like
Japan.
San Francisco
They could do
or something.
They could do Miami. They could do New York, and I feel like New York specifically could be very
New York could be really good.
could be very reflect. It could reflect the Tokyo Nights theme very
I'd
easily.
love to see another LA.
I feel like San
even
Francisco.
even
could
that,
be good
even
as
if
well.
LA
I'd love to
was
see
done
another
again,
LA.
I feel like it can be done. But my thing is, I think as one single human being, I've done all I can to try and give my opinion and my thoughts. I think Kamaz, and I don't know about you, CJ, because you feel like you can talk about cops forever, but I feel like if Ghost really need any more ideas, then it's all there. And a bunch of YouTubers went last year, and gave them feedback. And if they don't take that feedback, then
Dead.
it is what it is. I don't know. I can't. I'm
For
not
me,
EA.
It's
So-
quite clear. It's quite clear for me that anyone with eyes, this Tokyo Nights thing is what they need to do. And if you don't believe me saying that, all you have to do is look at the over 1 million views the whole thing's accumulated to like show that this is it. And anyone who says otherwise is either blind to this whole thing. There's no hop shoot fucking movement which is ever gonna get 1 million views. And you can speak all day like you want, but that's
Who
not
says
gonna
there
happen.
needs to be?
That's not gonna
I'm
happen.
just saying
It's
that
never
there's a
gonna happen.
large community outside the ones that
Well, you do
bring-
that then, and you go get the 1
regular.
million views because it's not gonna happen. It's like there's a reason
Ooh,
why Tokyo
fucking
Nights
big
blew up
boy.
in the way it did, and it's because the community wants it in a way which is unrivaled to anything else which anyone else has done. Otherwise, that would have blew up instead.
And this attitude that you have
That's
is like
because
a lot of the
what
reason
I'm
why people
saying
don't like
is
you.
that's right. What I'm saying is right. Like, and that's not me being arrogant. That there is literal stats to back up what I'm saying. There's nothing else to it. Like I said, like Jay said, Ghost should by now know that the fact that the hashtag is still being used months after the conception of the idea, that if it's a no-brainer. Everyone, even if they can't use like Premiere, they're making shit in fucking Movie Maker, which is much appreciated because everything adds up. That's the whole point. The whole point is to get every single person taking fucking screenshots or taking like making loading screens, and like there's a reason why people are using that name. Some people are probably using that name just to get into search results. That's mad to think about. Crown's video got 500,000 views. For me, it's a no-brainer. They're shooting themselves in the foot now with Horizon going to the UK, and it looks like it's not going to be in Japan again. I feel like this is Ghost like. They've been given like a fucking last stand again. This is their chance to fucking actually do something right, actually make a good game. Rivals was shit and broken. 2015 was broken. I like that game and I can actually play that game, but it's broken. Payback, another one. That's 3 bad games in a row. With 2 of them had actual longer development cycles, which we've never seen in the series before. If they don't do this now, and if they don't actually come through clutch, I think I'm speaking for a lot of people saying that I'm probably not like. There's no reason for me to look forward to another Need for Speed game. I feel like exactly how I felt with Rivals.
It's gonna be interesting to see. It's gonna be interesting to see like a year down the road how we'll be talking about the next Need for Speed game. It's not gonna be as like, oh, we're so hyped. Oh, we're gonna eat our own asses.
If
It's gonna be more like
if it's Tokyo. If it's Tokyo.
I mean that. But even then, like even if it is in Tokyo, I'm still gonna be really skeptical on it because think of like all the exciting shit that they promised with Payback, and then all like the rest of it, you know, like when they talked about cops,
that game was
Gamescom.
fucked. That game was absolutely fucked. But
the difference with that
I'm still
is
playing it
we
this time
had-
in the life cycle.
Yeah, we still had a shit ton of fun. I'm talking about mainly Payback. Like they promised so much stuff, all this fixes, all this different stuff, like with cops and everything. But yet they delivered it.
They're just not open
Not
world.
you know what I mean. Not in the way that we want it to be. Like they're fixed,
They
but
weren't
they're
lying though. That's
locked
like
off.
that's the thing. Is
They're
they
not.
weren't really
They're
lying.
not. They're not. They weren't like I was about to say. Like they promised and they delivered, but they delivered in ways that we didn't want them. If you know what I mean. They delivered in ways that ruined the game experience. Like, you know what I mean?
'Cause
Like
Payback
they
is single
promised
player game.
they promised racing. There's barely any actual street racing in the city, and just barely any racing in like a lot of the areas. It feels like a lack of racing. They promised cops. Cops are locked off to bait crates and like events, and then they promised fucking drag racing. Drag racing's a bit. There's not enough drag racing, and they promised.
I disagree with a lot what you're saying there.
They promised competitive speedless that like you know, and then the speedless they have speedless, but they're broken really, and the fucking
The drag racing got its
ass.
own like thread in the story mode.
yeah.
Cops,
I know.
feel like you are gonna say about the cops because again, it's the bias coming through. And
Well,
then
I mean,
the
that's not
racing,
bias,
The
'cause-
whole game's racing.
But no, when I mean like they they promise so many things. They have all these baskets. Instead of putting all their eggs in one basket, they separate the bag they have so many baskets with so few eggs in each little discipline that that doesn't feel like there's enough content, and there really isn't enough. And what I mean by like they promised all these different things and stuff, but they ended up ruining and making things worse than the previous game. Like imagine like if
So how does that come back to the original point?
we wouldn't be sitting here complaining about the cops in Need for Speed Payback if they were like the way they are, like aggressive and all that, but they weren't locked off to just bait crates. They had the whole heat system from 2015 where you could actually pull over, pay a fine, and fuck off, or you could like get into a high-speed chase with them. If they were aggressive like that and still had that element of like the heat system,
What was your original point? You ranted off.
My original point was that like they promised like so many things with Need for Speed Payback, and they delivered, but in ways that don't benefit us. They delivered in ways that hurt the game. Like they delivered in a way that just we expected them to deliver in sort of a way. It was almost like as if it was like inferred that we were going to get something, but then it turned around and it was
you've assumed.
Yeah, but then again, just I mean, you're gonna when they show off cops at Gamescom and they're all like coming after you after races and everything.
You didn't think that was actually gonna happen.
No, I didn't assume that, but I assumed that we're gonna have like a heat level system. You know, I assumed that because that's like what nearly every Need for Speed game that's been open world has had.
I mean, I think in a simple way of putting it, they a lot of what we expected wasn't put into the game. I feel like the whole cop experience, if they weren't going to include it, then they shouldn't have put it in so much promo. And
yeah,
like a lot of the taglines involved like, you know, race against all odds, and it seemed like they were really going to fix the cop issue, and instead of fixing it, they took them out.
I mean, and then
yeah, I don't know. I personally don't like care about cops that deeply, but I understand the frustration.
Yeah,
it's just one. It's just one of the part. It's just one issue. Like there's so many issues.
In the grand scheme of things, cops, they'll be open world in the next game. That's fine. For me, cops are. I'm not going to say so far on my list, but there's so many more things. The fact that I'm going into the only thing, which is endgame, which is ranked speed lists, winning the speed list, and then getting deranked is a bigger issue. Cops don't add to endgame. That's single player. The single player that's finished after you finish the game. The problem, why am I losing rank in ranked speed list when I win? Why am I not getting any rewards for winning ranked speed lists? Why is there only like a small pool of like?
I really thought they were gonna fix speed lists. They're
never gonna fix
like the net
lists.
code. Nah.
Like
I was
the
like
net
you
code's
going
better in this game. The problem is the actual fucking speed list.
Hmm.
The netcode is a lot better in this game. If you go back and forth like I have recently, there's a big difference in the netcode, and a lot of it just comes down to connection.
Compared to the multiplayer of like the run in like Hot Pursuit, like the netcode on those games, I feel like a lot of it's Frostbite. Yeah.
I feel like a lot of it's Frostbite because a lot of the same shit happens in Battlefield sometimes.
Then again, the run's multiplayer, the run was on Frostbite, and the run's multiplayer was fine. It didn't have the same issues that the Speedless had.
No, I'm talking about the netcode.
Yeah, it didn't have the netcode issues, and that's still Frostbite. On the run's multiplayer, I swear it didn't.
I remember having issues on the run.
I don't.
But like,
then again, the physics were a lot more heavy in that game, so you probably weren't as like smashing in and everything all the time on the run. And the map and the roads were designed. It was like linear, so it was more designed for those physics, and the roads were a lot less curvy and all that. They were a lot more like actual like.
With Horizon, missing the mark again with the location.
Allegedly.
I mean, I can't keep saying that because the game's not actually out yet.
Yeah.
And they haven't even announced it yet. But if everything is looking like it's going to be in the UK now, this is it then for the Ghost, really. They kind of need to nail this one because it's been 3 shit games in a row. With Horizon being in the UK, another one of those ones where I thought I was so close to seeing Japan or just Hawaii or Miami or Ibiza or just anywhere else or the fucking Alps, just somewhere that wasn't England. I don't want to see it. Like, disappointed is an understatement. Like, in the game, I'll play it, whatever. There's nothing here. It's just literally it's gonna be fields again. Another game full of fields. I'm sick of seeing fucking fields
and dirt roads.
Oh, I don't want to see off-roading. And if they're gonna add rallying or some shit, I just don't care. I just don't care. And they're gonna add some be your own boss again in England.
All right, let's lighten up the mood. Let's talk about the crew too.
Oh.
Lighten up the mood. With the crew too. What's
We don't know
new
anything
with
about
the
the crew
crew? I have we know it's gonna be. Well, we don't know it's gonna be. Then again, like I hope it's good.
Once in
It's
a game,
looking
we
like
don't
it's
know
good.
about the crew.
What?
Well, nothing we can say at least.
I mean, the game, like just looking at it, it looks great. Like it just looks like a vast improvement over the crew. And
What are
I
you
know
basing it off? There's nothing to base that off.
my own experiences with the crew, because unlike Payback and unlike Forza Horizon, the crew we already like the crew 2. Because we've played the crew 1, we've pretty much experienced somewhat a good amount of what the crew 2 is going to offer, and like with in terms of like the map and everything, and
They're
just
two
looking at the
completely
and
different games, CJ.
and we can infer from the physics that I've seen that it looks good, it feels good, and I mean Cam, you played at like E3, right?
Gamescom, but that was like a year ago.
Gamescom, yeah.
Inferring exactly what you did with Payback.
Yeah,
I'll
I
say that
know.
much. I'm looking forward to the crew 2, but I'm just saying that because that is exactly what you're doing with Payback. You're just inferring, which you should wait till the actual game comes out.
I mean,
get your hands on it.
yeah.
Everything I played was great, and I'm looking forward to it. And it's definitely going to be much better than anything Payback has to offer. Like
Yeah.
that I'm convinced because I've actually played it, and like even little thing. I said this about the physics. It's black box type physics, where you actually kind of have to brake, but it's not to the point where Horizon, where it's like Simcade. It's like in the middle.
Yeah.
Of being Need for Speed and Horizon.
Like Midnight Club? That's what I've heard, the comparison,
No,
Midnight Club.
Because Midnight Club is just shit. Midnight Club is awful. Like, how,
That
like,
is
remember
true.
in LA, like, you start drifting and you'd be sideways for, like, I love that game. I love it to bits. But the physics weren't actually really that good if you go back to it.
I can't remember the physics too much.
Do you not remember the fucking
Very-
action cam and just sliding around corners and it being so slippery?
Yeah.
Yeah, semi.
And then do you remember using NOS and sometimes not being able to control the car?
I,
Like, it's not like that in the game.
I remember that game when I unlocked the motorbikes. I never used cars.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because the motorbikes are so much better.
The main way I would get money is I would just highway race with a bike and I would just lane split the entire time, because on the highways in LA there's like the little divider that has like the high occupancy lane and the rest of the lanes, and I would just do highway races against people in really high cars and they couldn't weave around the traffic, but I could just lane split on that one diamond line. There'd be no traffic, and that's how I just grind for money in that game. But Midnight Club's physics, yeah.
That added to the
That really added to the conversation, yeah.
But I'm just saying. Also, Jay, I love your headphones. I love the sponsor on them.
What sponsor?
On turn to
Oh.
the side.
What was I gonna say? Yeah, the crew 2 will be good. The crew 2 will be good. The only weird thing, again, I'm not sure how. I just hope the boat. After thinking about it, the boats and the planes, they are. I don't want to say they're necessary because obviously it's a different type of game now. But I would have liked to see if that extra time went into cars and bikes.
Yeah, I hope. Like again, my main worry for the crew.
I'm saying that as in they probably haven't gone into time because they had to put the things in. But like, I'm just hoping that like it doesn't detract from the actual experience a lot.
Yeah, my main worry again for the crew, and I've said this before, is that they have so many different baskets with so few eggs that there's not enough content for each little discipline. I mean, I hope that their main focus was on racing and like all that, which I'm pretty sure it is, because they even said during E3 that street racing is the soul of the crew DNA or something like that. And I hope like planes and all that. I hope they're still fleshed out, but like and
Well,
like
they're
I love
just as big as the cars.
Yeah.
Like that's not they're even. Like I imagine from what I've seen, 1/4 of it is planes, 1/4 of it's bikes, 1/4 of it's cars, 1/4 of it's boats. That's the way it's gonna be. And that's like it's not really a worry, but it's more of like like, whatever.
Like I don't want to feel like there's a lack of anything, if you know what I mean. And again, and I mean, what was I gonna say? I actually completely forgot. Oh yeah, I don't know anything about cops in the crew 2, but that's gonna be opening a new can of worms. That's stupid.
I'm pretty sure they said in E3 there's none. Not really, because it's a Horizon game, pretty much. It's a Wild Run game.
Even then, like they even said, like with Wild Run, they said that like not Wild Run, with Calling All Units, they said that a big part of the community wanted like more fleshed out cops, so they put in Calling All Units.
Again, this is coming down to
you should take out.
That's not biased. That's what they said. That's what they said. It's out of their mouths.
You should take out a loan and just make a
I
cop.
mean, if they don't have cops at launch, I mean, there's room for an expansion based around it, if you know what I mean. Like one to like flush
not
out
the
the
type of
illegal
game.
aspect. But I mean, like
Not that
even
type of game.
then, like
it's like adding cops to Horizon. It makes no sense.
no, you can still add it in. I mean, it doesn't make
No, you
sense
can't.
to you, but like
No, it doesn't make sense in the game.
no, because Horizon still has those like illegal street races, if you know what I mean.
Aren't
If they
illegal. They don't feel
Because-
illegal at all.
because they don't have cops on them.
No, it's because they don't feel illegal. Horizon ones felt illegal.
Yeah,
Felt
even-
different.
but-
But like
but
you don't. Not,
even Horizon 3 still felt somewhat illegal. But I'm just saying this. I mean, I
And
even said that like before I just said it. I said a couple minutes ago. Opening this would just be an open can of worms because you don't really like. You're not as big of like you don't really like
But
cops
that's what
aren't
I'm
your
saying,
one of your
like,
big
I don't
things.
need customization to be in a game for me to enjoy it though.
Yeah, but
But,
cops are like
it's like it
something.
seems like for you, you need cops in a game to enjoy it. And
No,
think
I
that's
mean,
the
I
difference.
enjoy Forza 7. I enjoy Drive Club. You know, I
I think
enjoy
I think that's the
Underground.
difference. But I'm not gonna sit here and beg
But
for.
I mean, I will.
Tail-like customization in Horizon because it's not necessary. It's not necessary in Horizon. It's not the type of game it is.
I mean, then again, with the crew, the cops, like they only added to the experience, if you know what I mean. So taking them out really doesn't make too much sense.
And how would
I
that
mean,
make
even,
any sense
even
with the boats and the planes?
I mean, that's out. You can have boats chase after you, boat police. Those are
Think about
existent.
that.
I don't know the planes
Think
though.
about the amount of time they need to do to make the boat AI and then the plane AI.
I mean,
and then if you're
obviously-
switching from a boat to a plane and then back to a car, think
I
about
mean, this
all
is
those
why
three
this is
changes,
why
like,
with the
that's
crew
so
they can just
much
add in the
effort.
cops with an expansion, if you know what I mean. Like
It's
the-
still a lot of effort.
I mean, yeah, but
That's
still, like that
ridiculous
could be
amounts of
one of their main. That can be one of their focuses for an expansion, like it was. Like have a calling on units, but for the crew too, if you know what I mean. I mean, maybe not with like the fact that you're driving the police cars and everything, but make it so like they add cops to the game and have all that, so the cops actually chase after you.
Yeah, am I
And
making
or they can
sense by
have, like-
saying it's not
Hmm?
necessary?
Or they could just have they can just have like a whole expansion dedicated to like the illegal side of things, if you know what I mean. Because you have this whole open world, why not exploit like this inner cities and everything and have like
Because
an
it's
illegal
a
aspect of the game?
festival. It's a
I mean-
motorsport festival.
I mean, you're saying that like that can't be done, but it was done with the Crew 1. Only the reverse was done. It started off as like an illegal type game,
That game
gritty
had
type
both
game, but then they added in Wild Run. So then just don't have cops chase after you. I'm talking about like with the racing, like the driving. If you know what I mean.
The game is 1/4 boats, 1/4 planes, 1/4 bikes, 1/4 cars. That's the whole
Yeah.
reason why they've been added.
Yeah, for like half the game with like the off-roading and all that, you can have like cops chase after you. You can have like the cop cars for like hypercars. You can have like the tiered, like you can have it tiered, like it was in the Crew 1. Like again, like
But it's clear
I
they
mean,
don't want
like-
to go in that direction. I don't understand.
I mean, even then, like it's like that's cool. Like I can see why they want to do like a Wild Run type thing, but even then, just alienating a good portion of the fan base that wants cops, like that doesn't make too much sense. Even when like
That
cops
big
were
of a group.
already in the Crew 1, like it's
It's not
obviously
Alienating.
It's not that big of a group.
Alienating.
I mean, it is.
It's not
You
that
feel
big of a
Like
group
I'm
of
gonna like
people.
I'm gonna be deducting the game like points. Like
So do you-
that,
so-
you know what I mean?
How can
So
you
do
judge
you
something which isn't there?
so do you feel
Because
alienated?
the previous game had it.
Yo, fucking shut the fuck up, man. So do you feel alienated now then? Because there's not many cop games out right now.
Yeah, I actually kind of do.
So why don't you? You know, isn't the fact that the cops are like rolling around killing people in real life, isn't that making up for it?
No, what the fuck? No, shut the fuck up.
I just thought I mean, hang on a second.
I don't
boy.
understand. This guy said
Hang on a
alienate, you
second,
know?
boy,
He said
boy,
alienating me.
I mean, it's
like he's
true.
different.
It's true. We are being alienated. People who like me who play racing.
I
are
games
want you
who
to
like
get me.
play cops.
I want you to get me 5 other individuals that feel exactly like you do. Feel like there is a space for a Hot Pursuit 2010 in today's landscape.
That
I want you
doesn't
to get
include
those
Yusuf.
people, and I want you to fucking put them in the Discord chat. And I want you to invite me to that chat, and I want to talk to them because
Okay,
I don't
I will.
understand.
I
I
will.
literally
I
don't.
don't.
understand.
will.
It's only you. Like I've
I
never
want to
met
know
anyone.
who these people are because I've not heard a
This
single
guy is gonna say he
soul
wants cops in Forza Motorsport 7.
CJ, I've made several videos on my own channel, right? And I've never, not once in the comments seen anyone say, "Oh, I want a Hot Pursuit." I've seen
Because that's
Pro
what
Street.
because-
I've seen Pro Street more than Hot Pursuit.
No, I've seen Pro Street. Yeah,
Well, I've seen a
Pro
lot of
I've
people in my
never-
comment section have Hot Pursuit in their.
But
mind.
that's because you've only got 10 subs.
Street. I don't get it. I just don't understand how you think there's cops in a a Horizon game in a game about a festival of music.
I mean, there was because Wild Run existed and you still had cops.
No, I'm talking Forza Horizon.
I'm not talking about Forza Horizon. I'm talking about
But
the crew
that's what
I said
too.
it earlier.
That's what Game the Crew
Yeah, I
2 is
feel
aspiring to
like
be.
the cops, they can add cops to Forza, but it doesn't have to be like intrusive because at its core, Horizon's like a fuck around game with your friends.
Were the cops shit in the Crew 1?
Not really. They were pretty good actually.
Yeah, I didn't.
I'll ask you again. Were the cops shit in the Crew 1?
No.
Were they necessary? Did they add to the game thoroughly?
I'd say so, especially after calling all units.
I disagree heavily.
I can't remember them having a big. I remember
In the
them in some of
campaign
the
they did.
story missions.
They campaign, yeah. They had
in terms of playing the game with the friends, which was that game's core thing. I cannot really remember.
yeah, especially with calling all units, they were.
I didn't buy that. I didn't
PvP.
even buy that shit.
Yeah,
That
but the
shit
thing
didn't
is,
get touched.
But the thing is, with the crew, like again, like it's even if it isn't like necessary to the campaign, just removing them doesn't like there's no need. Like
There
it
is,
wasn't like
'cause
they
it's
got
it's
in the
development
way.
time,
Like
which you
the
don't
cops
see.
wouldn't chase after you when you hit them or like you smashed like
Yeah, but
so
that's not
much
the point.
shit
It's
around you.
development time. It's again the fact that they need to then program the boat AI, the plane AI, the bike AI, the car AI. If you switch from a car, a plane, boat, car, plane, bike, whatever, then what?
But
They're gonna add...
I mean, at that point, it's kind of mute because like you had those are like the Crew 2 is obviously based off the Crew 1, and the Crew 1 had like all that that big system in place. It's not like they had
No,
to
it didn't
rework
have any
everything.
boats or planes. The map's been completely.
No, I'm talking about
remodeled.
cops. I'm talking about cops.
I know, I'm talking about cops. Like I said, what happens if you go from a boat into a plane and then you're in the air, literally
Then it
traveling in the air?
Then
in
it
a
just
car
locks
for
you out. Then just have it so you can't do that. Like how it prevents you from switching cars during a
But
police
that's the
chase in the
game's
Crew
main
1.
selling point.
No, the whole like not being able to do that in free roam when you're not being chased. Yeah, sure, but being able to like how it is in the Crew 1, where like you don't get to change your car mid pursuit. Like that's like it can
Comments.
just be as simple as that.
You guys can. I'm not seeing any sense of this.
And I'm not
as
seeing any
far-
sense in your ideas either.
Because the game is literally, it's like Jay said, aspiring to be Horizon, and there's no
Yeah.
place for it. Like I
But
said,
there
this
is
is
a
another
place
one of
for
those
it,
things where
because-
development companies don't take things out anymore, and that's one thing that I admire them for doing it and actually taking them out because it's not needed. And it
Well,
doesn't
I don't
enhance
admire
the
them for. I'm gonna
doesn't-
criticize them until they actually add it.
It doesn't
And
enhance.
you be
the-
sure about that. You
It
see all the
doesn't-
videos I made on Cops and Payback.
Fam, look at that angle.
You see all the cops videos I made on Cops and
Bro,
Payback. You bet
you're
until they add Cops as a
angry.
crew.
Fam,
too.
chill
I'm
out.
gonna be making
Chill.
hell of videos on. I'm gonna be making hell of
CJ,
this is
videos
the
on.
bias.
CJ, chill out, fam.
Call me biased all you want. I'd say
Yes.
you're a bit biased towards the Horizon thing
Look.
because at the end of the day, I'm not
This
going to
is
persuade your
hilarious.
opinion.
What the
You're
fuck
not
have
going to
I
perceive.
done? What have I done? What is
Yeah,
this?
at the end of the
What
day-
is this man?
At the end of the
What
day,
is this man?
At the end of
What
the day,
fuck?
I'm not going to persuade your
Oh
opinion. You're not
my
going to persuade my opinion. So at the end of the
Christ.
day, it's just mute. You know?
Oh my god, this guy. Phew.
What?
Jesus Christ. Mad
I will fly to
Oh.
Lyon, wherever the hell it is, and defend the honor of having cops in a race in the crew too.
You're gonna be really disappointed.
He's gonna get disappointed. It's not
I
needed.
just feel
It's not a
sorry
game
for you.
the cops. It's a game for
Removing
a
cops is
festival.
like one of the
It's a motorsport
stupidest things they
festival.
could do. I'm
Yeah,
gonna go
man.
all Fox News
Yeah,
anchor
man.
here and say it's one
Yeah,
of the
man.
stupidest things.
Yeah, man. It's
Yes, you
gonna
know,
now, you,
I'll
now,
see you
now,
guys-
now you're openly admitting that you're just literally being brain dead and you're just saying shit to say shit.
No,
That's good.
no.
That's good. You are. You're
No.
being Fox
So
News.
Jay, you
Fox
know when you
News.
come off
Fox
the F1
News
race,
don't have-
yeah? You know when you come off the F1 race with a $3 million F1 car,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
a professional F1 race, you come off the podium and then get into a street race
Mhm.
with
Yeah,
cops
I
in. That makes
Yeah,
complete sense. Complete.
Who cares?
And
It's
then
a
you come
video
from that
game.
street
It's
race.
not supposed
you
to be
come from that-
realistic.
You come from that Pro Street-esque
Aren't,
street race,
wait,
yeah?
aren't you the same kid that moans about streetlights being incorrect?
Because I'm autistic. That shit. at the
Oh
end of
no,
the day
yeah,
doesn't
no,
matter.
okay, that explains everything. So we're wrapping this up because he just said he's autistic. So this
Thing,
explains.
no, but the thing
that-
is,
that
with the
whole
streetlights,
rant
I don't,
was
that, at
just
the end of the day, that
explained.
I
doesn't
just
add
don't
or remove to
understand
the
this.
game. If you know what I mean.
I'm genuinely, I just don't.
And I don't understand your perspective. At the end of the day, it's a 50-50
You're not
battle. I'm
trying
not
to
going to persuade
understand
your
it.
opinion. You're not going to understand mine.
Oh,
and you're
you're
not trying to understand mine either.
it.
He
You're
thinks
not
it's
trying
a
to
battle. It's not
It's
a
not
battle. No one's
I'm not trying to
fighting.
battle anyone.
CJ,
Like,
no one's
you're not trying to
fighting.
understand it. The game.
No, you're not trying to understand mine either.
No, I am.
No, you're not.
That's the thing. There's nothing to
Like
understand.
I'm trying to understand. You keep saying I'm not trying to understand yours, but I actually am, and I just can't. And you're not. And you're trying to.
Because the game isn't themed around cops. It's themed around.
So?
It's motorsport. It's F1
so
racing.
if they really had that, they could have removed cops from Wild Run before Wild Run happened. Say,
No,
oh, we're
because that
not
was
going
already
in that
there, so there's
direction.
No reason to.
Yeah, and they're already there in the Crew 1, so why remove them from the Crew
The game
2?
has been completely remodeled.
No.
What are you basing no off? I'm
The,
basing
like
it
you
off
still
E3
have the
interview-
whole,
interviews.
you have all the systems still there in place.
They're
you
not,
know,
though.
like
How
they
do you know
reworked
that?
the world
where's
and
the factual
everything.
information behind that?
Where's
I'm
the
basing all
factual-
my shit off E3 interviews
Oh my
and
god.
Gamescom interviews, where he said it in the Gamescom interview. He said it wouldn't make sense.
Well, he's dumb. I'll just straight up say it right there. Removing cops from
That's
the
not
crew.
a good. That's not.
is
That's
dumb.
not. That's
It's
not
stupid.
a reason.
It is because you're just removing something that added
That would
to the game.
require
It's
extra
not like it
development
took
time.
away. No, because not as much as just completely
a dev?
working it and everything. No, I'm not. I'm obviously listening to you, but I'm just saying, like, it wouldn't be, like, it wouldn't be as big. Like, I don't think it'd be as big of a deal as you're saying. Like, they wouldn't have to go like rework everything. It's not like they're put like.
They would, because the map's been redone. You can get like even little things like the stairs. You can go up the stairs now. on
Yeah,
hitting
they'd obviously have
cards.
to rework some things, but like it wouldn't be as big as a leap as you're saying it would be. And just removing like that one section of the game, it's just dumb. Even when they had a police chase in the first trailer where there's cops chasing after someone over the Golden Gate Bridge.
That's a
you know?
cinematic trailer. You can't.
I know, but even then, still removing them, even after showing that,
It's a
it's
very
just
small
stupid.
portion of the cinematic trailer as well, mate.
I know, but still, sadly, that is sadly
I'm
the case.
100% confident. If you went back to the Crew 1 and looked at stats, the amount of people that probably did pursuits was minimal compared. Right, so
Nah.
if you look at the World Run and then calling all units, it's a no-brainer to me to see which one was better.
Because
if you-
calling on
and-
units
and-
was
and-
made in like a month.
And if it doesn't matter, and if you think about it, if they've seen the World Run's done this well and calling units has done this well, isn't it obvious which one they'd focus on and which one they'd bin?
Yeah, I know, I understand what you're saying, but like especially after calling on units, a lot more people like took advantage of police pursuits and stuff, especially with like the crates and everything in the game.
But not
And,
as
like,
much
the
as
whole
the World
thing.
Run.
It's like me. This is like me saying that if the Crew didn't have a photo mode or a replay mode, it's trash, or it's. But I'm
No,
taking
it
points
literally
off.
is. It is.
But
yeah.
no, it isn't, because if you can, yeah, CJ, I just think you're very narrow-minded.
I mean,
It
that's the
doesn't
same
even
feeling I
sound-
have towards Cam right now. I have a
it
feeling
doesn't
he's-
se-
he's very
It doesn't know,
narrow-minded in the
but the way
opposite
you're
sense.
no, because the way you're arguing right now is you're not trying to get your point across. You're literally. It sounds like you're angry.
I mean, I
it
am
sounds
kind
like
of
you're
pissed off that they
angry,
removed cops.
But that's the difference
allegedly.
between you and Cam. Cam's not angry or pissed off at anyone.
Because
He's
his
just
favorite
speaking-
game mode
No,
didn't get removed.
It's not about anyone's favorite anything. We're talking about the general fucking. It's not about favoritism or these are factual points. They're not actual like. I'm not talking about. Okay, so I'm never gonna make a cinematic on the Crew 2, or if I do, it'll probably be a one-time thing because the game doesn't cater really to my taste when it comes to cinematography. So I don't think I'll do that. But I'm not gonna deduct the game of fucking points because of that. I'm just gonna be like, okay, whatever. If the game's really good, it's gonna be really good, regardless of if it's got fucking cops or not.
Yeah.
But you think that that's gonna make the game bad?
I mean, no,
That's
it's not gonna make that game bad. It's gonna make it less enjoyable than what it could be.
But that's
Right.
just.
But that's
Because it's
that
because
doesn't
you're
sound
you're
like
not being
what you're saying. though.
You're not critically analysing the game in that case.
because, like, in my opinion, this
If
is
the Crew 2 wasn't called the Crew and it was called something completely brand new IP and it came out, you wouldn't have those judgments.
No, well, the thing is
Because
with the
it wasn't
Crew,
in the
it's
last one.
not like, oh my god. The thing is, okay, what's your favorite type of thing to do, like race type of thing to do in Need for Speed, or just like any racing game, or
Like,
the
what's
Crew?
my
Take it
favourite
back.
Mode?
Like, what's your favorite thing to do, like race or something? Like, what's your favorite type of activity to do in the Crew?
PvP.
Now, this is like if they remove PvP.
It's not
In the
like
Crew
the
2.
PvP because
Yes,
that's
it
the
is.
whole
You're
that's the
taking a part of
multiplayer.
the game.
That's the
It's like
multiplayer.
no, the thing you're taking. It's like it goes both ways. It's a two-way street if you're just removing something that a lot of people found enjoyable with the first game from the second game. Like,
So removing. Okay, I'm not including calling all units because that's a paid expansion. So removing pursuits where you have to initiate yourself is the same as taking away a multiplayer, pretty much the whole multiplayer.
the racing crates thing
Half
added with
of the
calling all
multiplayer,
units.
half of the end game.
The racing
It's not the
crates thing
same.
where you actually did the crates, that was free. That wasn't part of the paid expansion. The only thing with the paid expansion was the fact to become a cop. And I'm not even talking about that. If they don't include that in the crew 2, I really don't give a
Okay,
shit.
so that's the same as half of the game is an MMO, a mass multiplayer game. You're taking half of that away. That is not the same. You can't compare them.
I mean,
If they
you
didn't
can't-
have PvP in the game, that's half the multiplayer, which keep in mind again it's an MMO, gone.
I mean, either way, if they remove any of those two things, it's a stupid idea anyway. But what I'm saying is that's
But it
pretty
doesn't
much
apply,
what
it's
it
not
is.
the same thing.
You'd be sitting here screaming too if they remove PvP from the crew
Because
2.
PvP is half the multiplayer.
Yeah, it's a big portion of the game, just like police
But,
is
but
in the crew
police
1.
isn't half of the game in any way.
It- not
The
it's not
cop
it's not the same
might be
it's not the
part of
same
the-
caliber as PvP is, but it's still
There
a
you go, you just said
pretty
yourself.
good portion, pretty big portion of the game,
just
especially
said
for
what I just
people
said.
like me. You said why I said what?
You literally just said it's not to the same caliber of PvP, which is exactly what I'm saying. Is that PvP is half the multiplayer and it's,
It's
an
not
MMO.
ha- Oh my god, no. What I
It's
mean
an
is
MMORPG.
like PvP is obviously a big portion of the game, but so is police. Now, obviously, the game isn't centered around police and everything, but still,
Did you spend most
that's
of your time in the wild run though? I mean, I'll argue
No.
that the thing that brought you back into the game was the wild run, not calling all units. So I
calling
don't
on
see
you
what you
still
mean.
brought me back into the game. I mean, obviously, each expansion brought me into the game. The thing is, like when I go on the crew, I don't really do the summon anymore. I do the crates that came with calling on units.
But the wild room, well, okay, then but ignore you then. I know for
Wow.
Narnia it did. I know for me it did. I know for there's so many other people I know that with the wild run that brought a whole new lease where people were just disappointed with calling all units. So if we're taking a general consensus, the wild run is the most popular expansion and the most popular thing that was added to the game. I just don't
Yeah,
really understand what you're trying to say with your point.
Because calling on units came out later in the game's life cycle, and it wasn't up to the same it was made in like a month.
But that wasn't
Calling
the
on
original
units was
point.
like a
I don't even know what the
dedicated.
original point was because you've gone so far off.
What was like? Oh my! Like I even said before I even started this talking about cops, I even said this would open a can of worms, and look what it has done. But
Because you're not making
At
any
the end-
sense. I'm
at the end
genuinely
of the-
confused.
at the end of
I
the
don't
day-
understand.
There's
at the end of the day, I'm not
you
gonna
compare
persuade your
PvP
opinion.
to having cops. That's
because
not the same.
it's a big like thing,
You said yourself it's not the same.
especially
It's a
after
big
calling on
deal
units.
to me.
Whoa,
Oh my God, what happened to your
mic's
mic?
gone off. You just
It's
taken
like your
mic out.
webcam mic. What the fuck?
Yeah, but you said yourself it's not the same.
Like you're misconstruing my
contradicting
words.
yourself.
Like obviously PvP is a huge part of the game. Cops is not as
It's not
as
anywhere.
big as
It's not the same. It's not the
Yeah,
same.
but-
you can't argue that
but-
because it's an MMO. It's a
But
multiplayer
what I'm
game.
trying to argue is police don't take away anything from the crew, especially in the way they're implemented, where you don't like have to be in a pursuit. So removing them from the game just it's stupid. It obviously adds nothing. It just takes away more from the experience, in
But
my
it doesn't,
personal
'cause it's
opinion. And since
development
coming from
time.
a person who loves
You
doing
don't-
police pursuits and all that, and plays racing games mainly, like a big part of the top reason I play racing games is for like to get into police chases and everything. It's one of my favorite things to do in a Need for Speed
But
game.
you're blind to see
And-
that you're very small. You're a very small minority.
No, I'd say we're pretty big, and you're blind to see that there's more than just me. There's more than just me who think this. There's lots
Like
of
I
people
said,
who
every
do.
5 people, yeah.
That's
Okay, I will.
there's more people that play PvP in racing games than there is that people that play cops in racing games. That's not debatable. If that's what we're going back to.
The thing is with PvP, you can track how many people are doing PvP. With pursuits, like you can track how many
That's
people are
not
playing online.
comparable,
But
CJ.
with-
You can't compare playing
Yeah.
against a friend in a race in a racing game to driving with an AI cop That is not the same thing. That is a PvP mode is standard in every single racing game, regardless if there's cops or not. That doesn't matter. Every single racing game that releases in 2018, at a bare minimum, should have a PvP mode. That is the bare minimum. It's like having online free roam. It's like every single free roaming online game should have online free roam. Not every racing game needs cops.
But we're not talking about every racing game. We're talking about the crew.
And
the crew at its core, the crew at its base should have police.
I'm not going to explain what I'm saying. I can't be asked.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna bother at this point either.
Like,
you're not gonna change my opinion. I'm not gonna change yours.
I'm not trying to change anyone's opinion.
Welcome back to Drivecast, guys.
I just don't get it.
I don't get it either. I don't get yours either.
If you can get invite me to that Discord because I'm just as confused.
All right. If you're one of these 5 people, add me.
They're not gonna be.
No, he doesn't even know 5 people. He's not like he can get 5.
No,
I
could get
1,000 people that want PvP.
I'm obviously saying I'm not obviously saying remove PvP. Now you're just putting words into my mouth.
That's not what
but what I'm saying is I can easily get 5 people. But if you want to be those 5 people, DM me on Discord and then say, "Hey, I want to be one of those 5 people." And then see if 5 people from there can get me in, and if not, I can get more 5 people just easily on my own.
This is gonna be interesting.
I can get how many likes have I got on the video I put out yesterday? 300.
4.
Yeah, I can get 300 people in that one Tokyo Nights.
I'll get what is it like?
I can get 2 people that dislike the video.
120k people.
I mean, it sounds like I'm gloating at this point, but you know, if we're gonna,
you are.
If we're gonna put,
right.
if we're gonna put the if we're gonna put like stats and, I honestly don't give a shit. Like Need for Speed's in a very fragile state at this point, and the crew, the crew is gonna be good.
I just can't believe that in CJ's head, multiplayer and cops, like, okay. Right.
Because I enjoy cops probably more than PvP.
You don't need to explain yourself again. You're just repeating yourself.
I mean, I do because you keep going at it when it's like a dead topic. I don't want to talk about it anymore.
Don't go then. Stop speaking.
Because you're the one who's
stop speaking. Like if it's a dead topic, shut the fuck up.
I obviously need to add in because if you're gonna continue it, then you know.
Oh my god.
So you need to end it right here.
I don't need to do shit.
Yeah, you do.
I don't, because I could.
You need to end it right here.
I wanted to.
Yeah, of course, because if you do, you're a pussy.
It's my recording. I can
Look at the aggression, CJ.
Yeah.
CJ,
yeah, I'm very passionate about what I like. All right.
Oh, stop shouting at me, please. Thanks.
I don't really want to end it. You made me feel quite uncomfortable. You made me feel quite.
Yeah, imagine if this was like. Imagine if we were all in the same room. Imagine if we were all in the same room.
You wouldn't be as high rate. You wouldn't be as high rate as you are now.
No, I would. I'd be in your face.
And then you get fucking.
You would not be in my fucking face like, oh, you wouldn't. No, you wouldn't.
Fat boy.
And then it turns into Jerry Springer. It turns into Jerry Springer.
Virgin boy wouldn't touch me. You get knocked out if you touch me.
Wow.
CJ, you wouldn't get in my face. You wouldn't get in anyone's face.
Oh, you see this?
No. No, I don't see shit.
Well, you obviously do. You're lying. You're blind then.
Wow, that was
like you're blind to the fact that cops should be in the crew too.
I can't. Right, viewers, I can't be the only one. I can't be the only one that's in this flustered state right now. I don't feel like I'm confident enough right now to end this podcast. Cause I don't know. My head is so. I started off gassed, like jolly, like, and now I just.
This is what Need for Speed Payback does to people.
I don't know.
It ruins
friendships.
I just this is
Jay. If you feel you can end this podcast, you do what you've got to do, my guy. You do
right,
what you've got to do. Because right now
question.
I am flustered
no,
as fuck.
CJ, is your name Jay?
Yes.
No.
CJ.
No. Jay first, mate. What do you mean Q&A questions? There are no fucking Q&A questions.
Yes, there is. There's one
We've
from
not done
Matthew,
the podcast.
Gene,
We've not done the fucking podcast for 6 months.
Yeah.
I'm not answering
Q&A from Matthias G. Fredsons. Top 5 American cars. Badge swaps don't count.
If you enjoyed the return, this was kind of like a what's the first? This is like the
season 2 of Drivecast.
This is like the foreplay of the third coming of Drivecast. I think now.
Fucking I know what you're trying to say. Oh, what's it called?
The
Prologue.
preview. Prologue.
Prologue. Yeah, there you go. It was something. It turned into a debate, but I guess if you enjoyed
Still
it,
confused,
then
man.
Like watching C-SPAN.
I don't even know how to
games.
end this. This is your thing.
That's what I'm saying.
That's
I
gonna
don't
be
know.
all. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you want to see
See,
more,
he's angry
Drivecast,
though. Like, why are you? You're angry. Why are you ending it angry for?
I
No,
don't
I know. That's just how I usually end videos. What the fuck? How is that angry? That's just how I end videos. I'm unlike you two. I'm actually energetic right now.
What the fuck? Who the fuck are you? Listen,
What?
Anyway, guys, that's gonna be all.
Hang on,
Thank you guys so much for watching.
no.
Want to see
It's
more
going
Drivecast?
CJ,
Make sure you click the
CJ.
subscribe button on the Drivecast channel. What?
You're not recording, so hang on. Don't try and close me off.
Hang off.
It is 3:00 in the morning, 3:30. Don't tell me about.
5:00 in the
Don't tell me about
morning.
energetic. I was.
We should have done this without you.
I was ready to go to my
Y'all
bed.
think I'm
Without
angry,
you.
but at the same time, I'm energetic right now. I'm just passionate.
Angry and energetic
Drivecast.
can
I
be-
love Drivecast. I wanted to do it ever since we stopped. Season 2 of Drivecast coming soon. I don't know if this is the first episode or not. I don't know when we're uploading this, but you know.
My head hurts.
Good.
My head actually hurts. Jay, you're ending this. I'm not ending this. I told you I'm not ending this.
As can be.
Don't do this to me.
Don't leave me!
Leave me alone.
I've got to end it in my current state. Look at me! Look at me in my eyes! You're ending this. I'm not ending this.
We'll be back.
I will literally look at memes on my phone.
Up
If you
next
end this.
on the
enjoyed-
Drivecast channel, we have C-SPAN.
If you
Yeah.
enjoyed this episode of Drivecast, make sure you give a like and
Subscribe for more.
something about CJ uploading names, comment section, description.
Cam needs to add the Drivecast channel to his recommended.
Stay safe and peace.